This is The Breakdown. What? Hey, everybody. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm mad kitty. It's Wednesday, but it's not just any Wednesday. It's our 50th Wednesday together. I love you guys. And guys, so I'm super fangirling, and I'm trying to keep my cool together because today on the show we have the one, the only Royce Johnson, aka Brett Mahoney from Daredevil, Punisher, and Jessica Jones. And I need to contain it all and get this interview going. Welcome to the show, Royce. Believe it, you know.
Yeah, it was a long journey. I had fun, enjoyed each step of the way because you don't know where it's going to take you. You know.
Mm-hmm. Do you like just living in that moment? Do you think about what's coming up next?
I can't think about what's coming up next because I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even when I got the role of Daredevil, I didn't know. I got a call like on a Monday, cleaning my apartment, and they're like, "You just booked a Marvel television show," and I'm like, "What Marvel television show did I book?" You know, you're going on so many auditions in New York, and they were so private with Marvel. You know, it's like a bathroom with no posters on the wall. I go in Julie Schubert's office, and they make us sign an NDA, and I sign it, and I'm like, okay, and I read the sides, and I leave, and then I get a call that I booked a Marvel television show, and I'm like, oh, I did, and it turned out to be the biggest package, like they say. Big gifts come in small, sizes. Yeah. That's what happened with this.
Please stop giving my mom cigars, Father.
So they didn't even give you like the title, like you didn't know.
No,
it was
untitled. No, a lot of during pilot seasons, a lot of the scripts say untitled episode, or untitled project.
Okay.
You know, so you don't know what you're going in for. Had I known it was Marvel, I probably would have been like, oh, I gotta stay up all night. I gotta memorize this. I gotta make sure I get this together. But no, it wasn't that.
Like it was happening to someone else.
I just went in because I played a lot of law enforcement, cop and stuff, and served in the military. So it was just another, well, not just another, but just a detective role that I'm used to doing.
You served military in real life?
Yeah.
Oh.
7 years in the Army. Yeah. Active duty. Yeah. I fired real weapons, man. Like, I'm the real deal. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for your service.
I appreciate
as a military spouse.
You are, so you know the deal.
Yes.
Yeah, so that always, it played a big part, in college. Okay. And, I would go in auditions and they're like, are you really a cop? Are you really? I'm like, no, I just served. I guess since 18, you wear that persona that gives off a vibe that you are a detective or had some type of, training. And I'm like, well, just military service. Yeah. Count that, which is the biggest and the highest,
Yeah. So did you bring any of that gun holding experience? Like, nah, bro, you can't hold that gun.
I had to. I had to bring my little swag, my little guns, my little weaponry, my little, position of authority with the rank and everything, So I brought that to the show, and the writers loved it. They said they saw, I got hired from a screen, just like you, just from on camera shot. Like I hadn't met the producers, the other actors. They looked at the show and they're like, that's our Brett. That's our Brett right there. I was like, oh, I'm glad you guys thought of me that way. Didn't go in for a call back. It was a one-shot deal.
Oh, wow.
One shot. I was
like, I hear you.
I must have been feeling good that Friday or something. It must have been TGIF or something.
Had that John Travolta Saturday Night Live, Saturday Night Fever walk.
Yeah. I had that walk. It was Friday. It was like about 5 or 6 o'clock. I was like, after I finish this, man, my weekend is starting and I'm good. Yeah. Had I known, man, that I was leaving a Marvel studio booking, I still can't fathom that was actually that audition. You know what I mean?
Were you a big comic book fan before all of this, whether it was DC or?
I read the comic books and I did cross over. I read, the commercial ones like Superman, Spider-Man, Incredible Hulk. Of course, I've watched the show. You know, like oh man, and Lou Ferrigno's daughter, Shannon Ferrigno, she went to school with me.
Oh,
We both went to
wow.
Purchase, yeah. So she was in a class under me. So Lou came to the school a few times. So I was like, oh, that's the Incredible Hulk. You know?
Don't even have to tell me. I'm a huge Incredible Hulk fan.
I see. Yeah.
I'm a big Incredible Hulk fan. So
Lou is still, you know, doing his fitness thing. You know, he does his, you know, he's still active and goes around and go to Comic Cons and stuff like that. It's fun. Oh, sorry. Oh, no. So, you know, it's gonna be. This is my sister, man. It happens on all time. Every time we're on set or something, the phone rings.
It's all good.
Yeah.
I've been famous for that too.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm gonna just turn this thing off, man, and get busy.
Yeah. So when you did find out it was Daredevil, did you like
know the character?
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, did you get comics to know the character you were playing, or just to know the Daredevil world? Period.
I wanted to know the Daredevil world. You know, I wanted to know where I fit in this whole puzzle that they had, because in the beginning it was just like a recurring role. We're going to try it out and see what Brett Mahoney's about.
Yeah, you do what you got to do.
So I didn't know what Daredevil was about. You know, being a lawyer, and where do I come in? Where do I fit in the whole puzzle? And I didn't read, you know, my character. I didn't read anything about my character. I wanted to bring something new. I wanted to bring the audition to screen.
Okay. And
that's what we did. So, I didn't read. Like I said, I began to read Daredevil during the shooting process.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I seen the Ben Affleck movie.
I'm not the bad guy.
You know, and I was like, okay, so this is what this is about, and where do I come in?
Yeah.
And it was like breadcrumbs. You know, the more they fed me, the more I grew that character to make him more realistic. I mean, I see New York cops every day. You know, I was even like, I would go into like bodegas and be like, you know, look at where they stand, and you know, the little stands, and you know, the stare down they give you. But that I used all that to incorporate all that in the character. So the military training, going to private school as a kid, and just brought all that stuff into the character, man. Just made him very matter of fact, very business, straight edged. And the fans loved it. They loved it, man.
I did 100%, because it was a believable character. It wasn't overplayed. It wasn't underplayed. I'm from New York, so I know that bodega cop. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know that guy. That guy lives in a building right next to you. He goes to work. You know, he cares about his job. You know, and just he's been on the beat 15 years plus probably. So he's a dedicated guy, man. I wanted to give him some integrity, you know?
Yeah. And I really like
cops get a bad rep, man. You know, cops get a bad rep.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to give this cop a bad rep, man. I wanted him to be someone they could trust. You know?
And that's actually one of the questions I wanted to ask you. So if not all of your characters, at least most of your characters have been cops, detectives, is that an important role for you as far as the representation matters movement? I guess I kind of don't want to call it a movement, because it's just a thing that should be. Does that ever play in your mind? Like, yes, I want to do this cop right. I want to do this detective right because representation matters.
Yeah, it does. And I try to attack each cop or detective differently. You know, and I want to be the same cop I was on Law and Order, to Punisher, to Daredevil, even though Daredevil and Punisher, I'm the same guy.
Yeah.
But just the growth of the energy, I would like that to have grown, because we all evolved. But back to the question at hand is that I like playing characters of power, you know, and being very informative, being representative of someone with knowledge of what's going on in the world, you know, today's world, politics, be it the way people in power are handled, and the injustice. You know, I like to be a character like that. I don't want to be the sidekick guy who's the comic relief. Even though I just did a comedy, I prefer to play a person like a lawyer, a detective, a doctor, or just to be looked at as someone with some knowledge or something, on the shows that I'm on.
Well dressed and
well dressed, well groomed, no tattoos, nothing against all that stuff.
No.
But that's not what I wish for. You
Yeah.
know, like I said, being military, I'm very polished in that way. I mean, I went to an audition once, and we was going in for like a sports audition, and I actually had my jersey tucked in my pants, because that's just Royce. I went to Catholic school, I learned how to tie a tie at like 7 years old, I'm like, so that's just the type of roles I prefer. I've played other roles, I've done other things, but as far as what I'm comfortable with, is roles of that nature,
Now, when people are, and this is me seeking advice from you, when people are going for these roles, do you feel like, yes, it's important to be comfortable with the character, or is it okay to tap outside your comfort zone?
I think every audition you go in, when we get these sides, which is our audition pages or whatever, do a backstory, give yourself a backstory about that person. Don't just take it as I'm going in as a cop. That cop has a life, he has a story, he has a background. How long has he worked?
The ambulance got
does he have a family?
I thought you might be
is he looking to get promoted? Is he looking for retirement? Those are the things I look for at, playing a cop or a detective of some sort. How long has he been a detective? Yeah. That matters. What type of detective is he? So, yeah.
Now, you said it's been a long journey. A lot of people are, before all of this.
No, now they know me now. Yeah, they know me now.
Yeah. So, explain a little bit of that journey. How does it get a little frustrating, or are you just like, no, on to the next?
In the beginning, we were trained in college to do stage plays. So I've done the off-Broadways, the Broadways, the co-stars, guest spots, and this is recurring, then series regular. So there's a ladder. Some people go right to the top, some people don't. I enjoyed the journey. It taught me how to be, disciplined with the long hours of shooting. It taught me how to be flexible with some of the writing changes when I arrived to set. So I think all that matters, and that's part of the journey as well. Just being a stage actor, transitioning to television, to film, and having that background. I mean, I wouldn't want to go into the battlefield without someone having not gone to basic training or some type of AIT.
Like that.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I like that it took me this long to get my ducks in a row and jump in there, because I don't want to be some scared chicken, the lead role. You're like, oh, now I got to do this role. When I walk into my roles, man, I'm like, okay, how am I going to do this role? How am I going to play this character different from the last? What kind of growth can I add? What layer can I add to Brett? Because one of the questions I think I was asked on a post was, how different was Brett Mahoney at the end of Daredevil?
I saw that.
Season 2 to the end of Punisher.
Because you did a whole little
we were like a new detective in over his head with the Yakuza. Yeah. Still, who is this guy? Daredevil now. Yeah. So like, oh, that's Daredevil back there. I know the guy. Or dealing with a Frank Castle, like, I'm seasoned now. I've been to enough conferences, sat in enough interrogation rooms to know what questions to ask, or the detective when a suspect is lying, or, I know how to put the pieces together a little better versus just being a desk sergeant and saying, hey, sign in, here's your pad,
And you did a wonderful job, because you can definitely see the character's growth from the first episode that you did in regular uniform to the last episode where he's in a suit and tie with the badge, you know what I mean? And the trench coat, like you rock.
Very confident. It's the cape. Hey, once you, just like Daredevil or any other character, we watch all these comics, and we need to see that growth, how they became comfortable with their powers. How did they learn how to use their powers? It's the same with Brett. He's in a uniform. That's great, but now he's a person in charge now. And the audience needs to see that growth. You know, I love the trench coat. I tried it on in the costume. I was like, oh, I want this to be Brett's signature coat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you rocked it, man. You not a lot of people can pull off a trench coat. You know that you either look cool or creepy. Like there's
you gotta be cool. Yeah, cool or corny. You know what I mean? So you gotta have your little swag going with it. You know, walk the coat. So I like the growth and Brett's journey. You know, and the audience like, oh man, I'm glad they gave you more scenes.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't. I didn't know that. You know, that's in the writers' room. We don't know what they talk about behind the scenes. You know.
So when you get the scripts, is it like the full script or just enough for you to know what your character is saying with whoever you're playing opposite with?
Well, in the beginning, it was very top secret because remember, Netflix was trying something new and Marvel was trying something new. So they were very leery with the leakage. You know, they didn't want this to get out. You know, even some of the extras that they hired on set, they didn't even know that they were like really shooting at the time.
Wow.
No, we just wanted it to be, you know, we wanted it to be brand new and just come out strong hitting.
Yeah.
So the first season, I only got like just my sides, what I needed to say. So I was saying names of people that I didn't even meet yet. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, they killed Ben Urich, you know, or somebody, you know, something like that. And I was like, so not to spoil anything if you haven't watched it, of course.
No, yeah.
But yeah, I hadn't met, you know, Vondi yet. I hadn't met Vondi, you know. So season 2, we decided to have more table reads, the growth of the show, and then put all the pieces together. And it helped out because we had other spinoffs like Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, you know, Iron Fist. So the table reads helped out a lot for us to all meet together and meet the writers and, you know, have the producers in the room. So if we had a problem with the way, you know, Brett would word something, we could bring it to the writer's attention or something, you know. As before in season 1, it was like, just say what's written, you know, pretty much, you know. And then you're like, wait a minute, now it's my character. Now I own it.
Now it's my baby.
Now it's my baby. Now I could say ball bastard, you know, bald head bastard to Fist now, you know. That's something Brett would say, you know. Or Hell's Kitchen is about to just explode, you know.
That's awesome. No, I like that because, you know, you as a fan, you only get to see what is the final product. You don't really get to hear like what happened behind the scenes.
Right.
And how everybody kind of meshed together. Because this cast is an ensemble of very first newcomers, seasoned people, and then veterans. You know what I mean? It's a great ensemble of every layer of actor.
Thank you.
And you all, every single one of you, held your own. It never felt like one was above the other.
Never.
Is that true off screen as well?
It is. You know, we all eat lunch together. We go out after it's over, you know, go grab a drink or something, you know, and just talk about the scene itself. Okay. It's a family. It's one big family with us because we all grew together, you know. It's like being in high school to college, the transition. It's like any other show, you know. I read that the cast of like Game of Thrones, you know, they were a bunch of unknowns, and then they eventually grow together, and you become comfortable. There was no ego. It was like one of the only sets that I went there where no one was considering themselves their show. It's my show, you know. It wasn't that type of family. Marvel wasn't ran like that, you know. From the sound guy to Daredevil. I just mean that. It was never a power trip, ever.
And that's really good to hear because that I mean, a lot of people don't realize that
we knew each other's names
onto the screen. You know what I mean? If there's friction within the people behind the scenes, it kind of does play out on screen as well.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like we joke, like in between, we joke, we crack jokes, eat lunch, and then we got a heightened scene where we just like gotta, you know, be serious, and then they're like, okay, you guys gotta get serious now, because we joke so much, we're a family, and then when it's time to shoot, we're bringing that same energy. We're like, wait a minute, I gotta get into Brett mode, you know. You know, I gotta get.
And I was going to ask you that too. So, like, these are all serious tones. Yes, there's a couple of funny bits here and there, but this is all serious shows. You said you just finished doing a comedy.
Crabs in a Bucket.
Crabs in a Bucket, but I don't think you've ever really done comedy.
No.
So how do
I did the
you-
Colin Quinn show years and years ago. It was
Oh,
just a skit. Yeah, I did some skits on Conan, you know, just little skits, but I've never actively been in a movie, a comedy before. So that was fun.
do you stay in that seriousness? Like, how long do you stay in that seriousness? Is it 10 minutes before the shooting, only during the shooting, or during the shooting and 10 minutes after?
You mean on Punisher or just comedy to?
No, like the Marvel episode.
In the Marvel world?
Mhm.
Well, in the Marvel world is after like a couple times in a trailer or whatever, you are that character. Once you put on that costume, I don't know what happens to you. Wearing that badge, that sense of authority, you are Brett. I don't need time to prep for Brett. Doesn't take 10 minutes. We joke, we eat lunch, and then we go to work, you know, to do the scene. We talk it over with the director. We also discuss with the other character who we're shooting the scene with, what do you think about that take? Or did you get from that take what you wanted? You want to do, you know, you want to run it again? Maybe you might find something new. So I'm not a type of actor that like practices and rehearse alone. You know, it's a collaboration. So, and we'll see what magic we come up with.
Oh, that's
And then when
actually
you see it, yeah, and then when you see it in the editing room and the final results come, you're like, whoa, I didn't know that happens. You know what I mean? You know, just like the one of the ambulance chase scenes in The Punisher.
Yeah.
You know, doing green screen was like one of my first experiences. You know, I was like, I've never been on set in a van for hours by myself with you know, because I'm not driving 100 miles an hour
Yeah.
on the interstate being shot at, you know. So you know, I'm working with props, I'm saying my lines, and then you hit a director, Royce, sharp right, you know, and you're like, or sharp left. You
Oh,
know?
is that
So,
how they do the movie?
yeah, because I'm not on the road. I'm in this, you know, stationary position. I'm not moving. You know, just stay focused, be well prepared because you don't know what's going to be thrown at you. Sometimes we arrive to set and we've never been to that location ever. Like, you know, like this is someone's home and we're like, oh, okay, this is a place we go to all the time. But as an actor, this is your first time being in the basement, you know, of some building watching, you know, anorexic kids or people being drained of blood.
Yeah.
So that's like, whoa, this is a bit deep, you know what I mean? I gotta take this in as an actor, as a person, you know.
How do you snap out of that seriousness? What do you do? What are some of your techniques to be like, okay, I gotta get my brain right?
Some of the techniques, I go hang out with some of the extras, go to the craft service, get some sweets. You know, I'm like, you know, get a Snicker or something, you know what I mean? Have a few laughs. You know, we joke in between takes. We smack each other around, we tease each other, me, Eldon, Charlie, you know, there's jokes 24/7, nonstop. Because the tone is so deep and serious that we have to make light of it sometimes, you know. We'll fake. I watch other scenes being done with some of the stunt guys, you know, to take my mind off what I got to do next or whatever. But that's some of the things I do. I don't play on my phone or anything like that. I don't. I'm not a phone.
No
I'm
Candy Crush.
Put the phone away. Leave the phone in the trailer, and just, you know, focus on your job tonight. You know what I mean?
Do you get to go, like, after the take, do you get to go and rewatch what you did and be like, no, I can do that a little bit better, or that was great? Do you have that kind of input with your character?
Some people do. You know, they like to watch the outtakes after they finish the scene. I'm not a watcher like that because I'm going to keep constantly critiquing myself. Keep constantly, this was too much. This was too little. Let's go high. So I have to trust the director that was what he needed and the other actor. Like, if we got that, you know, that's the, you know, the generosity of just giving. Acting is just reacting, you know, just being, you know. I'm not hey, let me go watch that take, or let's go back and see what I could have done different. No, I don't do that. I just trust the producers, and they're like, wait until you watch episode 6, man. It's gonna be, man, you're gonna be so excited. I'm like, yeah, I can watch it right now, I'm sure, but I'm just gonna trust you guys on that. You know?
So how does it feel to watch like the final episode product? Like, it's airing. Are you watching it with everybody else as it's airing, or do you binge watch?
I've had watch parties. I've had it where I've watched it with my mom and my sisters. You know, then I've had times where I finish it up alone by myself. Like I don't want anybody around. I just want to be a fan and enjoy the show and not look at myself or anything like that. I said, "Whoa, that scene was great. That was a great scene." So I've done it all different ways.
And does it feel like, oh man,
For real?
so effing cool? Like, you know.
Come on, man, I'm in the Marvel universe. How cool is that, man?
Yeah.
It's like you go on Wikipedia and type in your name, and it's like Brett Mahoney, Marvel, and it's like Royce Johnson. It's like, this is what actors work for, man. This is what we work to achieve, you know, to get our work out there and to, keep you guys entertained, especially at a time like this. You know, a lot of people are watching, you know, a lot of shows right now. They're binging a lot. You know, we got to stay indoors, you know, stay safe.
Yeah.
So,
what shows are you binge watching right now?
I know, right? I know that was going to be the next question. Of course, I'm watching Daredevil and Punisher. No, but I watched Ozark. Watched that. Yeah, that's a good show. Have you watched it yet?
Well, obviously I didn't kill anyone.
I know if you're a killer, then I'm fucking Snow White, and I don't see any dwarfs around.
So I watched the first episode, and then I got into The Outsiders by Stephen King.
Okay, all right, I've heard of that. Is it good?
Oh, yeah. It's kind of weird, but then once it starts going, you're just like, oh, I see Stephen King written all over this.
Okay, all right, I gotta check it out. Yeah, so I was watching, get back on Ozark. It is amazing, man.
Okay.
So that, and I watched the movie called, All Day and a Night, something like that. Have you heard of that? All Day and a Night?
No.
It's one of those new actors from, he was in Equalizer with Denzel, and he was also in Moonlight.
Okay.
That was a pretty good show. All Day and a Night. It was pretty good.
All Day and the Night. Okay.
Jeffrey Wright's in it.
Okay, I'll check that out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good show. I mean, a good movie. Yeah.
Do you watch a lot of TV when you have your downtime, or when you're in a situation like this where it's
right now I'm doing a lot of eating. I'm in New Orleans. A lot of crawfish. And,
I was going to say crawfish, gumbo.
Yeah, gumbo. I'm getting a lot of food intake.
I'm so
I'm watching shows. I've watched the documentary, The Last Dance with the Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls documentary. I'm watching All American now on Netflix.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, with Tay Diggs, my boy Tay. Wow. I did a show with him, you know, back in the day. So I'm supporting that. And that's it. You know, I'm watching my shows, trying to exercise a little bit, work on my guns. I can't have Brett coming back if we come back, you know, all huge and everything. So trying to maintain my figure, you know.
Yeah, because Brett was definitely like he was
getting buff, man.
Were those running scenes or like the action-packed scenes a little difficult? Was it something to get used to, or because of the military, because you train so much, you're just like, I got this?
Well, the day before, you know, of course, we know we have a schedule a week out.
Oh, okay.
So I know which day. Sometimes it changes, but not much. They'll be like, okay, we're doing that scene Thursday. So I know that I have to get prepared, get a good night rests, because you're gonna do a lot of running, a lot of shooting, and we have what do you call them? Consultants on set. So we do have cops and things like that on set to show us how to hold the weapon, you know, what looks good, work with the camera guys a little bit. And there's a little mini vehicle I saw for the first time that actually chases you, like runs with you, which is cool. Isn't that a cool thing? Yeah, like, you know, you don't have to slow down for the camera. The driver will drive the camera car. I think I put it on Instagram. I had the actual car standing there.
Okay.
So yeah. So it was fun. It was fun to run through 100 extras and excuse me. I had to apologize when it was all over. I was like, if I hit anybody wrong or knock anybody over, because I got to keep doing this about 5 times, and you want to get out of breath, and you got to give the stunt guys their credit because they do it so much better, you know, than we do. We want to do our own stunts, but it's not recommended, you know. But as much as we can do, we'll do. You know?
Now, you seem like such a humble, down-to-earth guy. Is that...
That's what everybody say. I'm me. I'm just Royce.
I was going to say, is that like your always personality?
I'm always like that.
Okay.
Always.
I didn't know if you had somebody in the background going, don't get too big for your britches, because I do.
No, man. My mom, look, my mom, hey, you better not, don't you change on us. Don't you get big on us.
Yeah.
Don't you get brand new. No, I'm still the same dude. I'm the same dude who was in that first Law and Order episode that had 5 lines. You know what I mean? I'm just happy for the growth that God blessed me with to get this level of success, you know?
And you're so supportive of your friends too. You're
Yeah,
always like, check out whoever doing this, check out, you know, and that's like so
I'm happy. These are the guys I grew up with as an actor, you know, the Chadwick Bosemans, you know, the Mike Coulters, and we all started acting together. We got out of college at the same exact time, you know? So I want to support those guys. Anthony Mackie, you know, we went to the same high school. And we, you know, little did I know that we've both been to Marvel Universe. You know?
That's I didn't know you guys went to the same high school. That's crazy.
Yeah, Warren Easton High School. Yeah. So I'm always supportive of anybody I know. Let me know what you're doing. I'll post you know?
don't test me. Don't test me. No, but and they're also so supportive of you, and that speaks to your character. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Because if you were too uppity or bougie, you know, they would not even bother.
Yeah, no one wants to work with anybody like that. Who would you? I don't want to work with anybody.
No, I'm pretty sure I'm that person like that.
No, I'm fun, man. I go with the flow, man. Let's make magic. You know, I'm always ready. I get a good night rest. I work hard on my scripts. You know, get a little coaching sometimes, and I'm ready to rock and roll. You know.
Yeah, that's cool. And that's always fun to do. Now, you're one of your biggest supporters and fans is your mom.
Biggest.
Yeah. And how did she? Like, you know,
I mean, if that lady, well, she just passed away recently.
Yes, I know.
That was my heart, my biggest fan. And it was so great for her to see me excel, to get so high, you know. She was already proud of me, like my first episode of Law and Order. She was like, oh, my baby's gonna be on Law and Order, you know. So, I mean, if this lady could walk around with a t-shirt with my face on it all day, she probably would have. She would be in like Walmart, like, do you have Netflix? Talking. I'm like, Mom, who are you talking to on the phone? Like, I'm in New York. She's like, yeah, I'm just talking to the cashier to make sure she's watching Daredevil or whatever, or the Punisher or something like that. But she was just a proud mom. I'm gonna miss her, you know.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm just so happy that she got a chance to see me do such great things in this career.
And I know it's kind of fresh and new, but I definitely wanted to give her props and her respect,
thank you for that.
You know,
I appreciate that. No her, no me, you know.
Yeah, exactly. You know? So I wanted to make sure we got her props and shout out in all
shout
of
out
it,
always.
So.
And we're gonna keep shouting her out, man, all the way to the Oscars. You know what
I mean? Dude, don't even start, because when I see. And I know this is gonna sound so cheesy and such a
no cheesy. No, we don't have room for cheesy.
But when I see people that go from this to the Oscars, I cry with them. I'm like, it's like I got the award with them. I'm like, oh my god, like I'm blanking out his name. The guy that did the Hispanic Dominican kid that did the Netflix about the Central Park 5.
Oh,
when he got his award, I was like, oh my god, thank you. I want to thank you for doing this, for winning the award for all those Dominicans. And
represent.
Yes. So I know
because he's winning for you. You know, Chris Chalk was in that. You know, and Chris Chalk and I did a play.
Yeah.
You know, we did Defiance. Hughes, you know, play at Manhattan Theater Club. So him being a part of that whole project, I was like, oh my God, that's Chris Chalk. Or look at Sterling K. Brown.
Yeah.
He did the brother sister plays. He won 2 Emmys. That's my boy. I'm like, Sterling, like, I want to be there, man. Like,
I'm a huge fan of Sterling too, because he seems just like he's so down to earth, much fun, so approachable. You know what I mean?
Approachable, kind, spirit. You know, when I met him, he was like, I saw Soldiers play with you and Anthony Mackie, and you were amazing. This was our greeting, our handshake.
Wow.
And he had the lead in the play. I was like, oh, hey, man, you know, nice to meet you. And he was like, you want to grab lunch? I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? We went to like McDonald's or something, you know what I mean?
That's so awesome.
You know, I mean, I tell everyone, they're like, you're so down to earth. I'm like, we're humans too, you know, you know.
But I mean, because you end up meeting some of these people, and they end up being too big for their britches, or they end up being like they forget that they're doing this for the fans. Because yes, you're doing it because it's a career. Yes, it's a passion of yours. But the end result is to have fans watching and love what you do and love who you are. So it's always refreshing or warming, soul warming to hear that the people that you watch progress. Like I said, I've watched you on that Law and Order episode. And then I see you, because you have like such a recognizable face, and I see you on Daredevil, and I'm like, hey, look, it's that guy.
That's the guy from the
And my husband's like, who? And I'm like, well, you don't watch Law and Order, so you're not up to
You don't watch Law and Order Marathon, so you wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know. And you didn't watch that episode of Blacklist like I did.
But I saw that episode. That's it.
I saw him. And and to see you more than once, it's like, okay, I got you. So it's always encouraging, and it feels so good that your presence, your aura, your personality is just like, I could totally have a beer with this guy. And
right? You're like, right. I could totally hang out, invite him to the barbecue.
Yes, exactly. And feel like you're part of the inner circle instead of feeling like, oh my God, it's Royce Johnson. Like,
my mom would do that. She would be on the phone and be talking. It's like, here, talk to my son. They're scared. She's like, no, he's not like that. You could talk to him, and the guy's like, hi, I'm a big fan of the show. What's going on, buddy? What grade are you in? So it would make you like 13, or I'll send you a postcard, a headshot sign, man, or whatever.
That's so cool.
No, it's an upbringing thing too as well,
Yeah, 100%. And that definitely shows. So what got that acting bug? Like how did it bite you? Was it something you
How
saw?
did it bite me?
Yeah.
I was, my mom, being down south, we have like vacation Bible school, like during the summer times. I know that sounds weird, right?
No.
Bible school.
It's
like a day camp. It's like a camp during summer where you send your kids off to. So, they can't be around the house all day.
Yeah.
So I went there, and they were doing plays, and they, they did the Passion of Christ or whatever. And I think I played Judas or something, the one who betrayed Jesus, So I and at the end, and it was like, I'm like 6 or 7. They're like, wow, man, you were a great Judas, man. You really nailed it. I was like, I did? I tried sports. And I love sports, but my hand and eye coordination and, football or basketball, baseball, but the stages was where it was at, I did the talent shows in high school, and, and then I went to the military. But even in the military, I would host these events,
Oh, really?
for promotions and stuff. So that's what got me, to get rid of my so-called stage fright or whatever. So I would always be in front of an audience. And in the military, I would call cadence. You know what cadence is? While the soldiers are running, 1, 2, 3, 4, hey, 1, 2, 3, so that was, preparing my voice to get ready and have that structure. So, and that's when I got bit. I was like, you know what? I'm ready now. I'm ready to get out of the military and pursue my dream. My mom's like, what are you going to do? I was like, I want to be an actor. She's like, okay, she wasn't shocked. I thought she was gonna be like, what do you mean?
Oh,
dentist.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought she was gonna hit you with the bless your
heart.
She's
like, boy, you've been acting since you was like 5 or 6. Boy, I'm not surprised. But my family was not surprised when I said I wanted to become an actor. Now, it was just me growing into that.
Now I know Broadway and film are two separate beasts.
Yeah,
I know they are. But do you feel more at home one over the other?
I love the stage. The stage is reactions. I can actually feel the audience, and the audience is the other character in the play. That fourth wall. So we feed off you guys while we're performing, and that's a feeling like no other. And at the end of the show, you're taking your bow, they're clapping, you get, you're like, wow, man, I got through it. You come on stage and you're working off each other. It's not a cut. Let's do that again. It's a straight through performance. So that's stage. But being on camera where you're reaching people in Japan or China, you know what I mean? Like that's huge too. So that's a power within itself, you know, like, you know, you got friends that you haven't talked to in a long time and you've lost touch with them and they're like, hey, wait a minute, that looks like, is Royce an actor now? Like, that looks like Royce. He looks about 30 pounds heavier, but I swear that's Royce. So, so that was always fun, you know, to let them know, you know, what I did with myself after high school or something, you know.
That's pretty cool. So, okay, so you've been in the Marvel world, even though it, like, I don't want to say confined because you did a lot of these different series, and like we said, Fred has grown. Is there like a character, whether it's Marvel or DC, that you're just like, ooh, I would like to try to tackle that character if they brought him to life?
Wow, that's a good question right there. But it's already taken, man. Mahershala Ali got Blade. You know, he's gonna be doing Blade. So I was like, wow, that would have been a great character. I just want to stay in one of those universes. I mean, I grew up, I'm sure most male kids grew up watching cartoons and stuff, wanting to be Superman or Captain America. Because when Mackie got the shield, man, I was like, man, you got the shield in Avengers. And I was like, man, I was proud. Like he had got a flag, you know, for us all. You know, I wanted to put my hand on my heart, you know.
Yeah.
But it was a big deal. It was a big deal.
Oh, 100%. Because I 100%
as an African American man, I'm like, you know, I'm like, that was big for me.
I thought it was gonna go to Bucky. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it went to Mackie, you know?
Yeah, I thought Sebastian was gonna get it, and when I was like, oh, Falcon? Oh, yes.
It was like another celebration because he was standing in the background. We didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
And he got it. Yeah, and he got it. But I want to tap into more comedy, you know? I'm always straight edge. So if I can do some comedic stuff more, that was fun, you know, working with Jeremy Pivens and those guys, because they go off script, man. They ripped. Yeah, they ripped. You're like, wait a minute, that wasn't my line to come in on, you know. And each take, they're saying something different. And I was like, wow, we have the freedom to do that. And they do that in comedies. You have that freedom. So I want to try and tap into more of that.
Yeah, I just literally yesterday I watched the 10 most iconic but yet off-scripted moments in movies that you didn't know about. And a lot of like iconic movies, you didn't know that it was unscripted. Like Han Solo saying "I know" to Leia's "I love you," that was unscripted.
That was unscripted.
The Departed. He takes out what's his name? I just blanked it out. But
Matt Damon, Leonardo DiCaprio. Mark Wahlberg.
He's the older one. Like Nicholas.
Sheen. Or what? Sheen?
Never mind.
Charlie Sheen.
I'm terrible.
Martin Sheen. Yeah. You know, I know the actor's name. Charlie.
Everything's unscripted. So I wanted to ask you, like, you know, how. I guess you pretty much answered it. It hasn't been any unscripted moments, but now that you have that freedom and know that you can have that freedom, is that something you're comfortable doing? Being like, oh, let me throw this in there and see how that works.
With respect to the writers, I try to stay on script as much as possible. And then we try new things. You know, they change on me sometimes, you know. Instead of saying ambulance, maybe paramedics or whatever, you know, after I've learned this all night long, they've changed. So, and then some things I add, like I said, bald head bastard, bald asshole, you know, in reference to Fisk, or I'm not doing that, or that's fun. Sometimes they'll keep it, and then if they don't want to use it, don't use it. I'm not offended by it, you know, but mostly we try to stay as close to script as possible.
So, if I read it right, Crabs in a Bucket was shown at Sundance. Is that correct?
Yes.
And it got great positive.
Great reviews, right? Because Jeremy Pivens has been out since you know, Entourage and everything. He hasn't been on set, so the audience is ready to see him back in action. Man, such a talented actor and funny.
Oh yeah.
I mean, working with comedians are just fun. It's like it's never boring. You know, they're thinking of new ways to say certain lines or whatever, you know.
How much of your character in Crabs in a Bucket can you talk about?
Can I talk about? I mean, I play it's about a well-respected real estate agency They make big money, man. I mean, they're driving Porsches, Ferraris, and my character is a cutthroat. I'm a cutthroat real estate agent. I'm not the top earner, but I would like to be. So there's a lot of kiss assing, to the big boss. And Jeremy Piven's mom passes away, and he has to go home and handle business there. So that's about as much as I can say about that. But but there's Jamie Kennedy, Tara Manning, Zach McGowan from Shameless. It's a great cast. It's a great cast. Yeah.
So was that the first time? Do you get to go to Sundance?
If I wanted to, yeah.
Okay.
But I was just probably auditioning, for
the
job or whatever. Just finished my first horror, Ghost in the Graveyard.
He can talk.
9 o'clock, the ghost is here.
Who am I, Dad?
10 o'clock, the ghost is here. 11 o'clock, the ghost is here. 12 o'clock, the ghost is here.
Ghost in the graveyard. 1, 2, 3.
I saw that. Well, I didn't see the movie. Like, I saw that you did it. But I'm not a horror fan. Like, I'm all the way.
Yeah, I don't watch much horror either. But I was like, I want to try something new. As an actor, you're always trying to tap some water. So I got a call, and they were like, "Could you be the sheriff in our town in this horror?" I'm like, "Do I die?"
Am I the first one?
I'm not the first one to die. No, I didn't say that. But yeah, it was fun spending so many days on a graveyard site at night. That was like creepy in itself. I'm like, I'm walking on dead bodies, man. Like in the cold. Like this is spooky enough. You don't need any horror doing that. But I had fun. It was fun.
How weird is that to say that you had fun at a horror show?
I know, in the graveyard. I mean, we shot it somewhere like in Katona, New York. Big graveyards, like dark, spooky, nuns, ghosts.
I'd be like, and thank you for the opportunity, but at this stage, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was spooky, man. Leaving at like 4 a.m, thinking you heard something, you know what I mean? No, but it was fun. It was fun. I got a chance to, work with some great actors, young actors as well. I mean, we're talking teenagers,
Oh, wow.
And fire off some good rounds because I am the sheriff. It's pretty cool to be that in charge of that little town.
So your characters are, of authority, of power, and they tend to seem to be good guys for the most part.
Yeah.
Do you ever want to play like the a-hole part?
Yeah, the bad guy? Oh man, I want to so badly, man. I'm so ready to be not the good, that great image, clean cut. Yeah, my agents, they always they're like, get a little facial hair, a little, shave it off. And so, get a little roughy, man. But I think personality is means a lot. And I think I've tried to go in as the bad guy, but I haven't gotten cast yet as the bad guy. Just yet. Not yet. Not yet.
I mean, just seeing your body of work, I think 100% you can pull it off with or without a because the way Brett was like the first couple of few episodes, he, it was like, is he gonna come or is he like gonna turn it on us?
Yeah, like is he gonna turn? Is he part of Wilson Fisk's entourage as well, or what's his deal?
Was waiting for that turn. I was waiting for that, and they kept you, pretty. And I was like, okay, I feel this too. I feel it either way.
All right. Yeah. I can switch off, man. I can do it if I, given the opportunity. Maybe one day you'll see me as the other guy, in Black Panther 2 or something. You know what I
mean? From your lips to God's ears.
To God's ears, right? Exactly. Woo.
Yeah.
I would love to have that opportunity.
So, how many young fans have come up to you and just have been like, dude.
Just say I better not land around like a high school or, or college students when they're getting out, man. Because if I walk down that block, I'm gonna stay there a while. Yeah. They don't quite know my name just yet, but they're like, you're the cop. You're the cop guy, Or if I'm like in the grocery store, Starbucks or something, getting a tea, and they're like, wait a minute, I know you. You're an actor. I was jogging the other day, and the public safety guy who secures the gated community where my sister stays, and I'm riding, and he's driving behind me, and he's like, "Are you a celebrity or something?" My little niece is like, "Yeah, he's a celebrity." And I said, he's like, I knew it, man. And I got on shorts, and he wants to take a picture, it's social distancing and stuff. And I let him take the picture and everything. But you're getting used to it. I'm getting used to being that guy now. You walk in stores now, or if the mask comes off, and they're gonna know who you are, bro. Marvel is a logo, man. It's like a logo. Once you do a Marvel movie, man, there's no escaping that, man. I remember my first Comic-Con I went to in New York, and I didn't know where to go or where the entrance was. So I got on the escalator, and I heard, like a big scream. I turned around, I was like, who are they screaming for? Like, what's going on? And I was like, it's him. It's Brett. It's Mahoney. I was like, and I was so shocked. And security had to escort me to where I needed to be, because it was just a bit too much. And that was my first fan base scream, or Royce, you got mail. And I'm like, wait a minute, why is my mail being delivered at the studio lot? It's like, no, it's fan mail, bro. It's fan mail. Okay?
That must feel almost out of body-ish. Like, they're cheering for me.
Yeah, I'm like, I didn't know. I thought something had happened. I was like, what are they screaming for? Like, it's him, because I didn't report to where I needed to report. So I was just enjoying the costumes. I was like, oh, wow, I see the Transformers over there. I see, but they recognized me because I had just a jacket on and a little T-shirt.
And don't underestimate those.
Don't underestimate the Marvel fans. They know exactly who you are. Yes, they do. They're like, you are Brett Mahoney. I'm like, how do you know I'm Brett Mahoney? He's like, don't fool us. We know who you are.
Yeah, they do. And it's funny that you brought up the New York Comic-Con panel, because I was getting ready to ask you. You did a panel. How is that like? Do you like that Q&A type of thing?
I love it. I we worked hard. It's like being on stage again with the crowd in front of you, asking questions. And when you sign the poster, oh man, you're shaking their hand, and they're just so glad to meet you in person and tell you to your face to face, they love your work. That's all the love you need. That's it.
So cool.
That's enough.
That's so cool. Well, Royce, I could sit here with you literally all day. I really could, because
I dig it.
We could talk about everything.
Everything.
But I know you're a busy man, and I won't take up your whole day.
My whole Memorial Day. Yeah, I got some TV to watch.
I know that's right. But I really do appreciate you taking the time. Other than Crabs in a Bucket, is there anything that you want to plug? Is there anything that's coming up that you are able to at least say, hey, tune in for this? Go for it.
Well, right now, just follow me on Instagram, trying to get the numbers up. I am Royce Johnson. As for now, we don't know what's going on. I mean, Hollywood is pretty much closed, and we're going to see which direction we're going to go in. Whether it be animation stuff like this or face to face. I don't know how they're going to do this. I don't know the game plan as of yet, unfortunately. So I can't push anything.
Just you push yourself, because you are
just push myself.
Being an awesome actor.
I appreciate it.
I might sound like a little creeper, but when I saw you appear, I was like, oh, Law and Order guy.
That's the Law and Order guy. I know that's the guy. That's the guy.
Also Blacklist. I know this. Literally,
I watched the Blacklist. I love the Blacklist. That's him on the from the Blacklist.
I was just telling my producer, I have a Blacklist whiskey cup that NBC was selling at the time. And I was trying to get it from up my cabinet, but I almost fell, and my husband was like, "Don't do it."
What a show, man!
Yeah.
And Harry Lennox is a friend of mine, so I was like, I'm going to be on the Blacklist, and Harry Lennox is like, "Whoa, man, good for you, man." So it's great, man. It's great.
But thank you so much for joining me, little old me.
Oh no, come on, little old me. You know what I mean, little old me. Thanks for having little old me on the show. I appreciate it. All right, guys.
Yeah. Yay.
Cheers.
Yeah, and even though I'm not like a huge celebrity like you, I understand the getting recognized thing, because literally I was in Walmart and they were like, oh, you do that because I not only do this, but I have my web show and I stream video games, and they're like,
yeah, right on.
You're the high heel gamer chick, and I'm like,
yeah, that.
Yeah.
But what do you do?
So my gimmick is I'm the high heels gamer. I wear high heels while I stream my video games, and I also go to conventions with my press pass, and I interview people of all walks of life. So whether it's the first time being there or seasoned veterans, and I interview them, and I've become somewhat of a North Carolina celebrity, just somewhat.
Yeah, right on.
It's not
North Carolina, yeah.
So, and then, so that's what I do, and that's kind of how I landed all of this, because Jack saw one of my YouTube clips and was like, "Yeah, I like your personality." I was like, "Awesome."
Exactly. Yeah, he likes you. You know what I mean? It's always good to work with a great personality.
Yeah. So on different levels, I know that whole getting your name shout out, or at least your character name shout out.
Yeah.
Are you talking to
me? Like, me? Like, yeah, me the guy. Like, I know you, you know. Or I'm on the subway in New York and they're like, I'm like, wait, hey man, hey, what's going on here? Yeah. And I walk over, I'm like, how you doing? It's like, oh, you're the guy. And I'm like, hey man, I thought, man, look here. Say something, bro. Say something, you know.
The biggest mecca for me was a t-shirt company in Canada sent me custom t-shirts with the logo instead of just their logo. It's my name on the back. I was like, have I made it? is this how you make it?
I made it. Yeah, mama, I made it.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie, I was so nervous to meet you because like I've been a fan since, and I know it sounds cheesy because it wasn't like a lot of lines, but I'm always looking for that background person, especially if they kind of look like me or kind of look like my kids. You know what I mean? And you did not disappoint. They always say, "Don't meet your heroes," but I don't care. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I enjoy the show. Take care, okay?
Okay, you too. Have a great day.
You do.
Woo! Well, that wraps it all up. I'm gonna go pass out because I try to contain the fangirl, and I know you guys saw it slip every now and again. But I mean, can you help it? He's amazing. Thank you again, Royce Johnson, for taking time from your busy schedule to talk to me. And so excited. So go follow him. Go follow us if you haven't already. Like, what is wrong with me at this point? But thank you for 50 wonderful episodes. Here's to 50,000 more. And as always, see you next Wednesday. Bye, everyone. Royce Johnson, love. You got that, Jack? Did I do good?
Yeah, I'm keeping all of this.
Okay. Did I do good, Jack?
You survived.
Yeah.